What is up, guys? Have you subscribed to the channel yet? If not, man, you're missing out. And also, this lighting is super amazing. I mean, I look so... you guys can see a lot of detail. It is currently around 6 p.m. and I'm off of work. Tired as hell, as always. This is how it always is. But yeah, we're going to shoot this video. Hopefully it's going to be up in the next 2 days. Trying to kind of keep my word, as I said before, so I'm not going to like vanish again like how I did back then last year, past 3 months, you know. So let's jump into the video. But before we do, subscribe. Okay, let's do it. That was kind of extra, but okay.
Yeah, on and on, 2001. Ça te rappelle rien? Non? Alors laisse-moi te rafraîchir la mémoire 2 secondes. Toujours pas?
But today's video is about the tools that I use as a software engineer, some of the applications that are on my MacBook that I use on a daily basis that help me to get my work done, that help me to write out code, push it, and just overall other kinds of tools that help me to be productive on a day-to-day basis. So the first tool that I use as a software engineer, as a programmer, or as a coder is of course where I spend 90% of my time, and this is my code editor. It's where I write my code. This is none other than my terminal. I'm kidding, I don't use Terminal. Throughout my years of coding, I've used a lot of different kinds of text editors. I used to use Sublime when I was learning code, but as soon as I started out building applications for production, then I moved on to what I currently use, which is Visual Studio Code. And the reason that I love Visual Studio Code is because it has like everything that I need in one place. The problem that I had previously while using Sublime Text was the fact that I had to like access different things from different places, which just made it a hectic experience when it came to developing my entire workflow. Visual Studio Code has like a terminal integrated, it has the text editor itself, and then it has a bunch of extensions and add-ons that are really great when it comes to just boosting your productivity. For example, it has other plugins that help you to kind of autocomplete when you're writing code. So overall, it just boosts your ability to write and push out code a bit more faster, and it's a bit more efficient for me in terms of writing code as compared to all of these other text editors. So Visual Studio Code is my choice of a text editor. Really, I have no complaints about it. It's a really good text editor. I would encourage all of you who are building apps for production. Almost all the software engineers that I know personally use Visual Studio Code. It's a really good one. I do encourage all of you who are building apps for production to start using it and just try and see how it is for you guys. Try and see how it improves your workflow per se. Now the next tool that I use is Github Desktop, and this is basically my version control. So for those of you who don't know, there's something called GitHub when it comes to programming, or Git itself. So GitHub is just a place where you can host all of your code, all your repositories. I use GitHub Desktop to be able to kind of maintain my versions of my apps better. It's really tiring to always be using terminal and kind of having all those commands, having to type in all those commands each time that you want to make a commit, like git add, git push. It's just a lot of work, and GitHub Desktop in itself is just a really simple user interface that allows you to kind of push all the changes in just a click of a button. And so I love GitHub Desktop because it's easy for me in terms of pushing my code, in terms of reviewing all the commits that I've made. And the good thing with GitHub Desktop is that you don't really have to use it with just GitHub. I mean, you can use it with other hubs or repository websites like GitLab. Should I call them repository websites, really? But yeah, you can use it with GitLab. So for my recent projects, I've been using GitLab a lot, but you can also use it with GitHub or any other BitLab. I think BitLab is another one. You can use it with any other code hosting repositories out there. Now, my third tool that I use on a daily basis is Trello. Trello is an application, it's a web application actually, that helps you to maintain all your projects in a clean and easy way. So it's much like a board, so it's kind of like having this sort of a whiteboard, and you have all of your tasks written down. So instead of writing all of your tasks on a sticky note and then sticking them on a whiteboard, it's kind of like that, but enables you to have a lot of collaboration with your teammates, the people that you're working on a project with. It's really good for project management, and it doesn't really have to be just software. I mean, you can use it to kind of track progress throughout different types of projects that don't even involve software or coding itself. But I found that Trello is a really good way for me to track all the tasks that I have currently in my backlog, those that I have in progress and those that I have completed. And it also helps me to maintain an accurate record of exactly what I'm achieving. So if I finish a task or if I finish a set of tasks, then I have that record that shows me that, okay, you finished these tasks. These are the ones that are in progress. These are the ones that you are currently working on. These are the ones that you've done. And if there's any issues or bugs arising from you kind of developing software, then you can also maintain them and manage them using Trello. So another tool that I use kind of often is Adobe XD. Now, I'm really into design, and you'll also see this when it comes to the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript tutorials. By the way, they're coming very, very soon. I'm a really huge fan of design in itself, and I'm really passionate about designing user interfaces and kind of the whole UI design and user experience design. And Adobe XD is one of the software that helps me to design UI components. And it doesn't really just have to be like when I'm designing whole pages. I can even use it to design like simple, small components that I am going to implement in any of my projects or even at work. So it kind of gives me a visual aspect of exactly how something is going to look before I even jump into writing the code to make it happen. If you're building some kind of an application or some kind of a web application, then I'd encourage you to take the first step of building a prototype and then testing out that prototype with actual real life users. There's no need of spending a lot of time in building a certain piece of software, and then when you try and go and test it in the market, then you find out that people don't use it as you expected or as you intended, and then you have to go back to the drawing board and start building again. Well, you could have just done it with Adobe XD. It's something that I use on a daily basis. Now, the last tool that I use on a daily basis is Google Chrome. Now, I know that this is kind of an obvious one, but for me, Google Chrome is really important, and Google Chrome specifically, not other browsers. Being a front-end software engineer, so that means that I build things on the client side, being a front-end web developer as well. So that means that I do a lot of stuff on the web, which means I build web applications and systems that work on the web. And the main application that I use to kind of see exactly what I'm developing is the browser itself, because that's what people are going to use to access your software. The main reason that I use it is because of the Google Chrome developer tools. They're really good tools when it comes to debugging your client-side code. It's really easy to make this mini tweaks and this really small changes instead of going back and forth between your text editor and your browser trying to see the changes. Web developers, I think you guys can relate that when you want to make this mini changes, it's really an annoying experience when you have to kind of reload the whole thing and then wait for it to load on the browser, when you can just make this mini tweaks on the Chrome developer tools and see how it goes. Also, when it comes to kind of debugging your JavaScript code, is also good. You can pull out how your data moves throughout your application, which makes it a lot easier when it comes to debugging and making sure that you don't come up with bugs that just arise out of nowhere. So Google Chrome is a really good tool. I mean, Firefox can also do a lot of these things, but I guess I've been using Google Chrome for the longest time, which means that I'm just used to it, honestly. And it's one of the tools that I use kind of like always, 24/7, literally. When my laptop is open, then I have to have Google Chrome open as well. I mean, how else would I be accessing Stack Overflow, which is where I spend actually 90% of my time. I have to admit, man. So anyway, that's been it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you have some kind of an insight as to some of the tools that software engineers use on a daily basis. Let me know, if you are a software engineer, what are some of the tools that you use on a daily basis, and how does it help you to improve your productivity or your workflow? Let me know down in the comment section. I really want to get a sense of that. But until next time, stay safe, stay good, and makes the world a better place one line of code at a time. I know that was cheesy, but anyway. See you next time. Adios.